WBTV News at 11 starts right now.
Tonight, a WBTV exclusive. This 4-month-old baby died at a Charlotte daycare, and his family says investigators won't show them evidence that could reveal exactly what happened. Good evening and welcome. I'm Molly Grant.
I'm Paul Cameron. 4-month-old Logan Bryant died in June at this Charlotte daycare. A surveillance camera was rolling at the time, but Logan's parents say, despite promises, police will not show them the video. WBTV's investigators, David Spont, began digging into this more than a week ago. David, I know you asked police about that tape.
Paul, I did, but I've been told police will not release that video to us. They could give the video to Logan's parents, but Logan's parents, they say the detective on the case has not returned their calls.
He was healthy the whole first 4 months. Even today, sometimes it's hard to believe that he's gone.
Charlotte dad TJ Bryant says he's living with the pain no parent ever wants to experience. His 4-month-old son, Logan, died at this Charlotte daycare back in June. But what led to the tragedy? Well, that's something Logan's parents, TJ and Pom Bryant, are trying desperately to figure out.
We want the official word, this is what happened to him, and this is why he died, or these are the actions that took place.
Officially, Charlotte and Mecklenburg police say the case is closed, but the Bryants still have serious questions. Now they've asked for our help. TJ Bryant says on June 10th, his wife took Logan to daycare at Chesterbrook Academy off Mallard Creek.
She said he was fine and happy, smiling.
But a few hours later, the Bryants found themselves in the emergency room.
They took me to the consultation room, and I knew right then when they took me to that room, I know right then that if it's not bad, they won't take me to that room. He just looked at me again and he said, "I'm sorry, Logan has died."
Her little boy died 4 days before he would have turned 5 months old.
He had passed before the paramedics even arrived.
For both parents, so many questions and so much confusion. They spent hours with Logan the day before he died.
He was fine. He was happy. He always, like his brother, he always smile and laugh at his brother.
Since Logan's death, the couple says they've hit a roadblock with investigators.
The detectives aren't returning our calls. The state isn't returning our calls. We can't get any information about it.
We reached out to the Mecklenburg County Department of Social Services, but officials wouldn't comment on its investigation of this case. We obtained this Mecklenburg County disciplinary report. It says a Chesterbrook Academy employee will be placed on the state RL list, meaning the county held her responsible for abuse or serious neglect in this specific case. DSS won't disclose any other details, and Chesterbrook Academy won't even tell us if the caretaker is still employed. WBTV also obtained Logan's autopsy report that states he laid down for a nap in a crib where he was found unresponsive in a prone position, meaning Logan was discovered on his stomach. So we checked North Carolina law, and it says a caregiver in a child care facility shall place a child aged 12 months or younger on the child's back for sleeping. Even these emergency room notes, part of the investigative file given to WBTV by the Bryants, reveal the EMS supervisor was told that Logan had been found face down in his crib with a washcloth or a towel over his head. Logan's parents say the daycare told them nothing would be in his crib, and they insist at 4 months old, he couldn't turn over on his stomach alone.
If it was their child, they would want the same information we wanted. I don't understand why we have to go through all this just to get information about what happened to our son.
We checked with multiple pediatricians. All of them agree infants younger than a year should never be placed on their stomachs to sleep. Logan's official cause of death, sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS. But Molly and Paul, his parents, believe that the prone position and emergency room notes tell a different story.
Well, Dave, was anyone ever charged in the case?
That's a great question. No one was charged. A spokeswoman for Chesterbrook Academy's corporate office in Maryland told me the company takes privacy very seriously, would not comment on Logan Bryant's specific case.
David, I know you'll stay on this story.
We first told you about Logan Bryant in November, but tonight it turns out his daycare was in trouble long before Logan came through the front door.
Little Logan died last June at Chesterbrook Academy off Mallard Creek Road. The official cause of death, SIDS. But his parents have their doubts, especially since his autopsy confirms Logan was asleep on his stomach, a direct violation of North Carolina law.
I think about what he would have become, how he would have grown up, how my older son would have been a good brother to him.
All new at 11 o'clock, David Spunt learned what parents can do to screen a daycare before letting them watch their child. David?
Paul, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police and the Mecklenburg County District Attorney are taking a closer look at this case following my investigation in November. I've gone through hundreds of pages of North Carolina daycare inspection records about Chesterbrook Academy. What I found reveals several red flags parents should know about.
You go to work that morning, and the whole day you're there, you have no idea anything bad is happening to your son. So I was really shocked.
Questions about Logan Bryant's death prompted us to look even closer at Chesterbrook Academy off Mallard Creek Road. We combed through State Department of Health and Human Services records and found multiple violations since the daycare opened in 1997. On October 15, 2012, the Department of Health and Human Services cited the daycare because a 1-year-old was left unsupervised in the classroom while the remainder of the class was outside on the playground. On June 11, 2013, just 1 day after Logan died, the department cited the daycare because a teacher fell asleep while 5 infants were in her care. A department report says children were not adequately supervised and a child was neglected while in care. The report goes on to say a staff member placed an infant in a crib that was not assigned to that infant. Another violation, a child was handled roughly. A staff member picked up an infant by one arm to remove the child from the crib. The staff member roughly placed another child in stationary play equipment. It also says staff did not follow this safe sleep policy. A staff member failed to visually check on a sleeping infant for 1 hour. WBTV obtained these emergency room notes from Logan's parents. They're from the night he died and reveal that paramedics discovered Logan face down with a cloth over his head.
He's not supposed to have anything in the crib.
Completely out of the blue.
Dr. Scott Spies is a pediatrician in Charlotte and was surprised when we showed him the ER notes.
The standard of care in the United States would be to never put a baby to sleep on their stomach.
Logan died on June 10, 2013. The state placed Chesterbrook Academy on a probationary license for 1 year beginning on November 22nd, the same day our first investigation aired. DHHS says the date is just a coincidence. As part of Chesterbrook's probation, inspectors will visit the academy more frequently. No criminal charges have been filed against Chesterbrook or against the employee in charge of watching Logan. However, Mecklenburg County health officials placed her on a responsible individuals list, meaning the county considers her responsible for abuse or serious neglect in this case. The daycare and county won't even say if she's still employed at Chesterbrook.
Parents need to know what's in that report. They need to know what happened to our son so that they can make a better decision for their children.
Police have a videotape of the incident but won't release it, citing an open investigation. How do you check a daycare to make sure your child is going to the best place possible? Let me show you how to do it. It's very simple. We've posted a link right now on our website, WBTV.com. I'm going to go through it on this iPad here. We're going to take a full screenshot. You go to the state website of Child Development. We have this on our website. You type in the facility's name, Chesterbrook Academy. Once you go there, you hit submit. You can pull up a ton of Chesterbrook Academies in the Charlotte area. You can see right here there's a Chesterbrook Academy on Mallard Creek from our story with a probationary license. You click on that right there. You go to DCD Visits. You can find a lot of information right there. I do want to point out that the Department of Health and Human Services, they look at several factors before closing a place down. David Spunt, WBTV, on your side.
All right, David, thank you. The spokeswoman for Chesterbrook Academy's corporate office sent us this statement. Quote, "Our hearts are heavy and our thoughts continue to remain with the family since the tragic loss of one of our children in June. The safety and well-being of our children are our highest priorities, and we take very seriously our obligation to comply with all child care licensing regulations as outlined by the state of North Carolina." The Bryant family has filed a lawsuit against the daycare.
We will stay on this. We'll let you know.
Nearly a year after an infant boy died at a Charlotte daycare and WBTV began investigating, 2 workers are now facing charges. We first broke this story last year when Logan Bryant's parents asked us for help. And our investigation uncovered a history of problems at the daycare. Tonight, all new at 11, the little boy's father sat down with David Spunt for the first time since the arrest. David?
Jamie, one of the women arrested was behind me in court this afternoon. The other one will be there tomorrow. I've been digging in over this case for months, and tonight Logan Bryant's dad, he tells me that the new arrests bring back memories, horrible memories, of losing his son.
Basically, everybody that came in contact with Logan is dealing with grief and pain over the last year, and I don't see an end to it.
His dad says little Logan Bryant loved to laugh and make people smile, but the infant's life quickly ended behind the doors of Chesterbrook Academy off Mallard Creek, June 11th, 2013. Almost exactly a year later, detectives are publicly saying these two women in charge of watching Logan did not do their jobs. Detectives say Stephanie Johnson and Shanita Wright handled Logan and 3 others in a rough manner, slept on the job, and did not routinely check on the babies.
I hope they realize the impact they've had on my family. Me losing a son, my older son losing a brother, and my wife losing a son.
Paramedics found Logan unresponsive, face down in the crib, which is illegal. Logan also had a towel over his head. The medical examiner decided Logan died from sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS, but Logan's parents have always questioned that ruling.
I feel like we've got still a big fight ahead of us to get those answers.
Over the past 6 months, WBTV uncovered several violations against Chesterbrook Academy, including supervising issues and neglect. TJ Bryant says the arrest proves a point.
I hope there is, but I don't consider this closure.
And he wants to see more action.
I still want a better answer as to why the daycare is still open, and I still want I want a second opinion on the medical examiner report.
I spoke to Stephanie Johnson before and after her court appearance today. She refused to do an actual interview. I wanted her to tell her side of the story. She didn't want to do it, but she did tell me she has been in the child care industry for a long time. Shanita Wright will be here at the courthouse for her first appearance tomorrow. We're live at the Mecklenburg County Courthouse tonight. David Spunt, WBTV, on your side.
David, thank you. Now, we did reach out to Chesterbrook Academy after police arrested their former employees. Chesterbrook told us they are thinking about the Bryant family and added the safety and well-being of our children are our highest priorities, and we take very seriously our obligation to comply with all regulations. We'll be back in court tomorrow when Shanita Wright faces a judge.